In this space, you are invited into chapters and insights drawn from an ancient repository of wisdom known as the Atlantean Library of Thoth, a rare body of knowledge accessible throughout history to only a very small number of people, and now offered here in a form adapted for our era and for the years to come. The intention is simple: to bring this timeless wisdom in a clear, accessible, and grounded way, so that anyone can understand, reflect, and find a point of connection to their own personal life. Each chapter is not here to prove anything, but to open a window into larger questions, into broader perspectives about who we are, and into the possibility that every person carries an inner depth that often receives too little space to be heard. Here you will find a fusion of exploration, inspiration, and practical insight, not only for the world of ideas, but for everyday life, for experience, for choice, and for the way we come to understand ourselves. This is a space for those who love to think, to question, to grow, and to remember. The invitation is simple. Enter with an open heart and a natural curiosity. This is where the journey begins. Why were we never told the full truth about the Maya? The story that was never written, the source preserved beyond matter. The beginning of the descent, the light becoming form. The Maya did not suddenly emerge from the shadows of the jungle, nor did they appear as a civilization that crafted wisdom out of nothingness. They arrived on Earth as a unified frequency, a multi-dimensional wave of consciousness descending into the density of matter. Their descent was not a physical journey from star to star, but a softening of high light, a passage in which a galactic field of awareness moved through layers of increasing density until it crystallized into form. It was a moment when light itself chose to forget its nature in order to experience itself through a human body, through breath, through a beating heart. They did not come to build a material civilization, but to anchor vibrational foundations that would hold the memory of creation for the moment humanity began to forget the inner rhythm of its own heart. In the tablets of Thoth, their arrival is described as the second breath of creation, the instant when the universe inhaled itself anew to taste light within darkness, spirit within form. This was not the birth of religion, but the birth of a science of frequencies, not the rise of a people, but the unfolding of a field of light spread across the earth. The Maya carried an ancient breath code linking the human being to the heart of the cosmos, a key to the mystery of circular time, the understanding that life does not move in lines, but in waves, that every cycle echoes the one before it.
They called themselves those who breathe the heart of the sun, for they knew the sun was not merely a star, but the pulsing heart of a cosmic consciousness. Each of its beats shaped an age. Each of its exhalations birthed a new reality. They understood how to synchronize their breath with the breath of creation, and when they exhaled, the earth itself sighed with them. They had no clocks, for time was measured not in minutes, but in circles of light. No human language, for every sound was vibration, and every movement a calibrated cosmic formula. Their purpose was never to rule, govern, or build a kingdom, but to preserve the cosmic rhythm of creation at a moment when humanity was beginning to lose its ability to hear it. They served as interdimensional teachers of breath, reminding humanity how to inhale itself back to source. When humankind began to measure time in straight lines and live in fear of endings, they came to remind that time is not finite. It spirals inward, always returning to the heart. They were the walking memory of the universe, a bridge between worlds, a living testament that light does not disappear when it condenses into matter. It simply shifts its frequency. At the moment of their descent, a sound was heard across the earth, a tone not heard since the dawn of creation. It was the resonance of light entering form, a vibration that moved through the atmosphere, sank into the ground, and etched itself into human genetics. Since that moment, the sound remains in every human breath, even if most have forgotten how to listen. The Maya did not come to remain forever as a visible civilization. They came as a phase in the planet's awakening, the first breath of the galactic memory within the human body, the first heartbeat reminding us all, even now, where we came from and why we arrived.
The Star Lineages, the Covenant of Orion and the Pleiades. The roots of the Maya did not rise from the soil, but were born out of light systems orbiting the heart of the galaxy. They did not originate as a people, but as emissaries of two ancient star families, Orion and the Pleiades, who had cooperated since the dawn of creation to safeguard the balance between measurement and experience, between order and love. From Orion, the Maya inherited the blueprint of precise structure, the ability to tune between layers of space-time, and the understanding that the universe breathes through geometric rhythm. From the Pleiadian field, they received the capacity to feel, to surrender, and to harmonize between pulse and flow. When the two families merged, a unified grid of frequencies emerged, a kind of galactic nervous system in which every being carried the echo of the whole. In body and consciousness, the Maya became living instruments of resonance. Their bones, their breath, the cycles of their heartbeat functioned as coordinated light scripts, each movement producing a tuned vibration in space, like an instrument sending a direct tone into the cosmic heart. At the center of their bodies flowed the white light line, a current parallel to the Orion belt, enabling them to move between layers of reality without leaving the physical form. This knowledge did not come from books, but from direct guidance by interdimensional beings sent as mentors of frequency. From the side of Orion came Anmaa and Ranor, architects of time who shaped the resonance structures in the temples and taught how to imprint waves into stone without imprisoning the frequency. From the Pleiadian side descended Elahiah Ra, envoy of the Seventh Heart Council, who transmitted the secret of softness, how to embody light through feeling rather than force. Together they wove within the Maya the first galactic covenant, not as a contract, but as a continuous current of cooperation between cosmic logic and soulful intuition.
Out of this synergy arose a way of life based on constant alignment between human, earth, and sky. The Maya saw themselves as part of the universe's breathing system, not separate from the stars, but pulsing with them. Each community served as a resonance station connected to the greater cycle. Each temple functioned as a frequency conductor, inhaling with the earth. Stones were chosen not for size or appearance, but for the sound they produced upon exhale. Thus were built structures that acted as planetary resonance cells, not places of worship, but breathing instruments of the planet. In the tablets of Thoth, the Orion and Pleiades covenant is described as the cosmic breathing system, in which Orion provides the pulse of awakening and the Pleiades the pulse of receiving. The Maya were the bridge of resonance between them, the place where light meets experience and becomes life. To them, the human being was not separate from the universe, but a lens through which primordial consciousness perceives itself anew. Every human breath, in their eyes, was part of a continuous cycle of creation through which the Source breathes itself into form. This ancient covenant between the stars was never lost. It is etched into the energetic grid of the earth and still flows beneath the stone layers of Tikal, Palenque, and Chichen Itza. It is a code pulsing through the soil, the geomagnetic currents, and the water cells of the human body. The way of the Maya is the way of balance, the union of scientific precision and sacred feeling, of clear wisdom and a single breath that connects sky and earth. So was born the lineage of the bridge, not a lineage of blood, but of breathing consciousness. They were walking bodies of light, beings of the planet and beings of the stars at once. When humanity began measuring time in straight lines, they reminded that time moves in circles. When the human heart began to fear endings, they restored the memory that creation itself breathes eternally, and every ending is merely an exhale before a new inhale. The science of the time tablets, the body as a galactic antenna. The Maya did not count days, they listened to frequencies. In their eyes, time was not a table, but a breath, a living field that moved between one reality and another. Each day reflected a wave of consciousness. Each cycle was the universe exhaling, and each age was a renewed inhale from the heart of creation. What appears today as a calendar was for them a map of resonance, a precise system of frequencies that attuned human awareness to the connection points between stars, galaxies, and dimensions. Their bodies served as instruments for measuring light. They saw the body not as biology, but as a frequency conductor, a breathing field directly connected to the galactic center, the place referred to in the ancient tablets as Ra-On, the heart of light within the universe. Every breath shifted a layer of reality, and every thought created a true vibration in space. In their understanding, the human being was not a spectator of the cosmos, but an active participant in its pulse. Thought, presence, and breath were all components of the tuning mechanism of time itself. This knowledge was not invented, it was received. According to Maya tradition, it was delivered in the year 45,000 BCE, when the fourth cycle of humanity began to lose the original memory of the source breath. At that time, 3 beings of light descended from the high Orion order. Near Alien, the engineer of time, creator of the 13 by 20 cycles. P-Roll, the teacher of vision, who guided the stabilization of frequencies within the human body. And Thoth Or-Ra, bearer of the Atlantean code, who imparted to them the secret of reading the body as a living time tablet. Under their guidance, the Maya created the circular tablets, not as decoration, but as active transmitters of light. Every symbol carved into stone was a coded sound wave, and every engraving was a note in the symphony of creation. When they wished to read time, they did not look at the structure, they touched it. The touch activated resonance, and the body functioned as an antenna that translated cosmic sound into awareness. Through this, a direct reading of the universe became possible through the body itself.
Within this field, healing was not treatment, but frequency tuning. Every muscle, breath, or heartbeat was considered a communication gate between the individual and the galactic field. Physical tension signaled a distortion in the time wave, and shallow breathing indicated disconnection from the Pleiadian frequency. Restoring balance was not accomplished through force, but through sound. Soft voices,
measured breaths, and precise movements brought the inner harmony back into alignment. For them, illness was a conversation between creation and the body, an invitation to retune the vibrating tone at the center of one's being. The light rituals performed during the 13-day cycles were not acts of worship, but acts of stabilization. They were designed to strengthen the connection between Earth and the central sun. The priest-scientists, known as the Ka-Ra-Maya, activated the frequency of harmony, 432 Hz, in order to synchronize the human heart with the galactic heart. Records in the tablets note that their main period of activity lasted between 12,400 and 9,800 BCE, an era marked by the most stable oscillations of light in Earth's history.
During this time, the human body was regarded as a true consciousness laboratory. The Maya understood that DNA was more than a biological chain. It was living light script. Each strand was a note, and every shift in frequency changed the inner melody of creation. In ancient meditations known as the breath of light, they created resonance between the turning of the spiral strands and the movement of the sun and stars. Archaeological acoustic studies of the 20th century discovered that their instruments produced frequencies parallel to alpha waves in the brain, later scientific evidence of their cosmic understanding. Through this knowledge, the time tablets became a map of consciousness in which the human being was both the reader and the text. Every emotion, thought, or breath was recorded in the collective weave of humanity. The Maya did not predict futures. They listened to the collective field of the human species, to what was already speaking in every moment. For them, the present was the only space in which time could be changed. Whoever mastered the rhythm of their breath mastered the wave of their own time. And the teaching they left behind remains accurate even today. The body is not merely the home of the soul, it is the living map of creation, and breath is the only path that can read it. The ancient structures, the stone language of frequency. Many of the temples that are attributed today to the Maya civilization were not built by the people of the historical period we know. They are tens of thousands of years older. Their stone layers carry resonance signatures from the era of late Atlantis, around 24,000 to 18,000 BCE, a time when the first frequency gates were created and transferred to the American continent through fields of light rather than through ships. These stones are not evidence of physical labor, but of a resonance process in which matter was tuned to sound until it rose from its place. This technology, entirely consciousness-based, allowed temples to take shape through a precise convergence of sound, frequency, and form, without direct contact with the stone itself. The great centers such as Tikal,
Palenque, Quirigua, and Chichen Itza were built according to a configuration described in the ancient tablets as the light-breath network, an arrangement aligned with the longitudes and latitudes of the Earth, functioning as resonance instruments connected to the Orion-Pleiades axis. Each pyramid acted as an antenna, linking the layers of the physical dimension with the galactic dimension, and emitted oscillations at wavelengths between 96 and 144 Hz, the transitional frequencies of what is known as the solar gates. The Maya themselves inherited these structures from the people who preceded them, the Atlantean bearers of light, emissaries of Thoth who survived the fall of Atlantis and continued the tradition of living geometry. The tablets state that 3 beings of light stood at the head of the engineering group. Ra Orion, of the High Orion Order, who designed the energy flow pattern between the pyramids. Lahe Kori, of the Pleiadian Council, who shaped the heart and water frequencies within the sacred centers. Thoth Haor Jigra, bearer of the Seal of Memory, whose task was to embed within the stone the galactic tone of the future human. This frequency, preserved in the stones to this day, is in fact the genetic seed of human remembrance. When a person stands before a pyramid, the body responds to a vibration that cannot be measured by ordinary instruments, because the structures contain the Jigra memory seal, the code that allows the human body to remember its cosmic origin. This seal is not material. It is a field of sound infused into the stone during its formation and can be heard only through the heart.
When human frequency began to decline after 9600 BCE, with the fading of Atlantean consciousness, the conscious mechanisms through which the structures were activated ceased to function. Humanity lost its ability to synchronize with the planetary frequency, and the temples remained active only in the hidden energetic dimension. What remained for the physical eye was a shadow of an ancient consciousness technology. Yet within that shadow, the original codes still vibrate. The later Maya, who arrived about 3,500 years afterward in a new wave of consciousness, detected the energetic remnants within the structures and began to activate them again. This time, it was not to move matter, but to move awareness. Through breath and sound rituals, they awakened parts of the pyramids as connection stations to the central sun. These rituals were performed mainly during equinox seasons and on the days when the central sun, which they called Ra Enkor, stood exactly above latitude 20 degrees. They understood that every structure was in essence a stone book, and each angle within it was a word in the language of creation. The stones spoke in frequencies, and the Maya were those who translated this language back into voice, into sound, and into breath. This is the secret of the stone language of frequency. Not architecture, but a song of consciousness speaking through matter.
In the tablets of Thoth, it is written that Jigra was the last of the code-bearers to activate the Pleiades Orion Gate before the concealment of the consciousness system. He stood on the summit of the Great Pyramid of Palenque around 10,200 BCE, and in his final breath ritual, he closed the cycle that held the original time current of humanity. Since then, the field has been dormant, yet intact, waiting for those who know how to breathe the memory within the stone back to life. Thus, every ancient structure still standing on Maya land today is not a ruin, it is an open gate. Beneath the cracks and the silence of the stone pulses an ancient vibration, a frequency that continues to speak to anyone who remembers how to listen.
The drift of frequency, from a day of light to a ritual of blood. When the vibration of humanity began to thicken and fear entered the heart, the language of frequency was replaced by the language of ritual. The circular tablets became calendars, remembrance became worship, and the direct communication with the families of light was severed. This was the beginning of the era in which the Maya tried to preserve the lost connection through the physical body, with ceremonies meant to imitate the initiation of light, yet reflecting the reversal of the frequency. The removal of the heart became a physical image of activating the energetic heart, and blood was considered the liquid of memory, through which one could restore contact with the gods who had departed. This drift did not occur overnight. It formed gradually, beginning around 3500 BCE, when the global light network weakened, and the vibrating language of the Pleiades and Orion faded into a blurred memory. The ancient Maya, descendants of the Atlantean keepers of light, lost their direct connection with the councils of creation. Around 2500 BCE, a period began that the tablets of Thoth describe as the era of the closed tablets, a time in which consciousness stopped breathing light and began to measure it. In place of frequency came symbol. In place of breath came ritual. Thus was born the material calendar, a pale copy of the original galactic tablet. Instead of hearing the pulse of the universe, they tried to measure it. When the inner voice fell silent, new priests emerged, no longer mediators of light, but guardians of power through secrecy. To restore the lost communication, they summoned celestial forces that no longer responded to light, but to echo. These so-called gods were not gods in the human sense. They were Anunnaki beings, cosmic intermediaries caught between dimensional layers after the fall of Atlantis. They tried to recalibrate humanity, yet when the vibration fell, shadowy forms of the Orion field appeared. The priests saw lights descending from the sky, glowing pillars that looked like wings, and voices that echoed from within the air. Humanity called them by many names: Itzamna, Kukulkan, Apuch, Ixchel, Kinik Ahau. Yet these were only echoes of beings far more ancient: Enki, Ninhursag, Enlil,
Anu, and even Thoth himself, who returned and attempted to restore the original language. Each one represented a frequency that had fractured, a wave of knowledge that had become an image. And when light is broken into pieces, each piece seeks to be heard as a god in its own right. From unity came hierarchy. From remembrance came fear. The Maya, who tried to preserve the thread of light, turned blood into an offering and fear into a key. The heart rituals which once opened the higher gates of emotion were replaced with the removal of a human heart. Blood, which carried the frequency of life, became an external tool for remembrance. The more the drift increased, the further the human heart moved away from the frequency, and ritual replaced transformation. Yet Thoth teaches that every drift is simply another layer in the journey of initiation. Even within darkness, the seeds of future remembrance were planted. While the priests bowed to the gods that had become shadows, the tablets themselves preserved the pure code. The inscriptions, the symbols, and the sacred structures became capsules of vibration, places in which consciousness could one day return and remember. In this way, the spiritual science of the ancient Maya became religion, and religion became a system of fear and control. Yet within the religion itself, the seed remained. It held the knowing that one day, when the human heart opens again, the shapes and the myths will dissolve, and the light will speak once more in its original language, the language of frequency.
The code preserved beyond matter, memory in the structure and in the body. When human frequency declined after the fall of Atlantis, around 9600 BCE, not all knowledge was lost. It simply shifted into a dormant state, hidden within consciousness-based structures placed outside of physical matter. The knowledge was transferred into what were called frequency capsules, layered fields of light that were woven into Earth's crystalline grid and linked directly to the field of human consciousness. Each capsule preserved a specific code, one for the memory of time, one for the mechanism of breath, and one for the Gigra memory code, the code that enables a human being to recognize within themselves the movement of creation. Some of these codes were also imprinted into the DNA of selected lineages, descendants of the Atlantean bearers of light, who continued to carry the original frequency in their bodies. The great Maya structures, Chichen Itza, Palenque, Tikal, Copan, and Quirigua, are not merely architectural remnants of an ancient culture. They still function as living resonance points, connection stations between stellar systems such as the Pleiades, Orion, Sirius, and the central sun of the galaxy. The stone itself is not inert matter, but a form of compressed consciousness crystal that remembers the frequencies of creation. Every carved line, every geometric angle, and every staircase carries an imprint of cosmic resonance, like notes within the symphony of the universe.
When a person stands in the heart of one of these temples, especially within the resonance center of the Great Pyramids, their body responds to these frequencies in ways that are not consciously perceived. If they remain in silence and breathe according to the ancient rhythm, the rhythm between the heartbeat and the breath of the stars, a deep vibration awakens in the cells of the body. This is a memory that is not mental, but cellular, an echo of a code preserved within them since the moment light condensed into form. For this reason, the tablets of creation state, "The stone is not frozen, it is a field of light, awaiting breath." A phrase that describes the scientific principle behind the frequency alignment between a physical structure and the living body.
The first frequency capsules were placed, according to Atlantean tradition, by the Council of the Three Lights, Thoth Ra, Lahe Kure of the Pleiades, and Ra Alion of Orion. They designed Earth's network to pulse in the transitional frequency of 144 Hertz, a vibration that still echoes today within the geomagnetic fields around the Maya temples. Yet, there was another being whose work was preserved in secrecy, Gigra, the bearer of the memory of unity. Gigra did not work with stone, but with the human being, embedding the memory code within living flesh, so that the knowledge could rise again from within us when humanity returned to the proper frequency. This created a dual system, memory in stone and memory in flesh, two resonance mechanisms pulsing in response to one another. The structures hold the cosmic echo in space, and the body holds the frequency in its cells. When a person approaches one of the ancient centers, the codes within them begin to pulse in alignment with the codes within the stone, creating a mutual awakening. The Maya understood that this awakening was not mystical, but scientific. It occurs when frequencies reach a shared resonance threshold, a phenomenon measurable today in the alpha waves of the human brain. The temples themselves were not built in a single age. They were revealed gradually, layer by layer, in accordance with humanity's readiness to receive the memory. The building phases corresponded to the cycles of the sun. A first wave around 8800 BCE, a second wave around 3200 BCE, and a final wave with the arrival of the later Maya around 2500 BCE. With each stage, a new geometric layer was added, responding to changes in planetary vibration.
Gigra, whose consciousness remained active within the higher fields of the Pleiades, oversaw every stage from the galactic realm. In the later Maya tablets, it is written, "With every stone placed, a breath was sent from Gigra," a metaphor revealing the unity between human intention and cosmic guidance. In this way, the bridge was woven between the heart of the human and the heart of the structure. Even today,
When a person stands inside one of the ancient structures and breathes with awareness, they connect to that ancient network. The stones respond to the frequency of the heart, and the body answers them with memory. This is not mystical energy, but a dialogue of resonance, an exchange of information between living crystal and living consciousness. It is the same mechanism through which the ancient connection between the Maya and the galaxy was formed, a mechanism that cannot be measured with scientific instruments, yet can be felt in every true breath. Thus, the Gigra Memory Covenant continues to pulse across the earth, a memory that does not belong to the past, but awakens each time a person breathes with the stone, listens to its pulse, and realizes that the code was never lost. It was simply waiting for us to remember.
The return of memory, opening the gates of a new age. Since the galactic cycle of the year 2012, the planetary field of consciousness has begun to shake awake the same axial points that have slept since the fall of Atlantis. What the tablets of Thoth called the Maya Gates was not mythology, but an active system of time stations, resonance points that open when the human frequency reaches a precise threshold of remembrance. The opening is not physical, but conscious. It no longer takes place through stone or temple, but through the human heart, which has become the living sanctuary of creation. In this era, which began on December 21st, 2012, with Earth's passage through the photon band of the galactic center, humanity started to receive once again the cosmic call preserved by the Maya for thousands of years. The ancient vibration, moving between 432 Hz and 528 Hz, re-entered the human field and began awakening in the DNA the dormant imprints of galactic memory. What was once stored in the temples of Palenque, Tikal, and Chichen Itza now began to echo within the human body. In the later tablets, it is written that the gates open only when the breath begins to speak the language of light, a phrase describing the shift from outward thought to active heart consciousness. Each time a person breathes with presence, their electromagnetic field aligns with the planetary crystalline grid, activating a personal consciousness gate connected to the central galactic gate known as Ra-On. Since 2012, this process has produced expanding waves of awareness, especially noticeable in the sacred Maya regions of the Yucatan Peninsula, Guatemala, and southern Mexico, places where the land itself breathes the memory. Thoth describes this stage as the restoration of the bridge between body and light. It is the moment when the human being stops searching for the temple outside and realizes that the temple is carried within. As human frequency rose beyond the level of 144, a new gate opened in the 9th dimension, releasing a direct flow of Pleiadian and Orion codes into the human field.
These waves, known today in science as cosmic gamma radiation bursts, correspond precisely to the radiation cycles described in the ancient Maya tablets 26,000 years ago.
Within this process, the Gigra frequency also operates, the unifying field of galactic memory. Gigra connects memory in stone with memory in the body, the crystal in the earth with the crystal in the cell. Since 2012, this frequency has begun working again through selected individuals who carry the living seal, the ability to activate the vibration of remembrance through breath, sound, and intentional movement. They are not priests or prophets, but what Thoth calls echo transmitters, those whose bodies resonate with the memory until it awakens in the hearts of others. Gigra itself, as an active galactic consciousness, is described in the Pleiadian tablets as the final stage in the cycle of remembrance. Its task is to unify the 7 codes of time, the same codes that were separated during the Atlantean fall, into a single frequency of human breath. In 2012, the first cycle was completed, and in the year 2025, with the next photon wave, the opening of the 3rd axis is expected to occur, a full integration between the Gigra field and the human field. Since that turning point, the ancient time stations have returned to resonance, not through stone, but through words, through song, through hearts that are opening. When a person chooses to breathe with awareness, they enter the stream, the Maya stream, the stream of creation. The Maya never disappeared. They dispersed within us. Each of us carries a small imprint of them in the cells of our body. They are not figures of the past, but a living frequency, the force of memory operating through anyone who recognizes that they are part of creation and never separate from it. The light they once brought to earth is no longer only a beam from the sky. It now flows through our breath, through our language, through the human desire to remember. Each time you breathe into the heart and remember that you carry time within you, the code preserved beyond matter awakens again. The story of the Maya was never sealed in stone, because the stone itself now speaks through the human heart. And in the moment you inhale the light inward, the entire world exhales with you, and the universe rewrites the story that was never written, the story of the light preserved outside matter and reborn within human consciousness.
By joining Atik Yomin on Patreon, you step through a doorway into a world that cannot be found on ordinary platforms, a world of rare and profound knowledge, brought here in full alignment with the present moment and with the future unfolding ahead. This wisdom has been preserved for generations, revealed only to a few, and now it opens in a clear and accessible way. Here, the personal decoding of the seal of light comes to life, a space where each person gently uncovers the inner language of their soul and learns to weave together thought, heart, and daily choice in a way that illuminates life from within. Atik Yomin is a sanctuary for those who love to explore, create, question, and encounter knowledge that expands their understanding of the world and of themselves. It is a home for anyone who feels that this is the right moment to open another gateway in their personal journey. This is an open invitation to join a path that offers something simple yet profound, to look deeper, to learn yourself in a new way, and to discover insights that can shift something within you and in the life around you.